But indeed, it's something that I cherish to share because I know everybody has a different path. Everyone comes from different backgrounds and has a different present. And I loved what I did before. I loved the film industry. I didn't like the corporate world at all. That was just a necessity driven to fit in with society at the time. And that meant, the regular things, having insurance, having a car, having a steady job, having that income, being able to save some money. Um, but at the end of the day, it was probably the most taxing part of my life because, albeit I was earning really well, my lifestyle was just not fun. I was working European hours in Texas, so getting up very, very early and going to work on random days. Um, had all the perks, had everything, the bank account was looking good, the car was always taken care of, and a few trips out here and there when I had free time. But just the going back to it every Monday or whenever I started the week, um, was so taxing. I just remember going to work and not feeling encouraged, not feeling well, regardless of working out or having a great breakfast, or just enjoying myself a little bit the night before. So it just got to the point where I didn't know what I was going to do, to be honest. I had no idea, but I had to let go of it. I had to bite the bullet and call it quits. Even with all of the offers to stay and oh, it's only like 3 more months to your next promotion, and that'll be better, and the perks will be even more amazing, and you'll have more time off. And yes, but still, I'd still have to come back and do the same thing. So, oh, we just had a nice little earthquake over here.
Really?
Yeah, nice little shaky Guatemala.
Not as not as crazy as the one we experienced, hopefully.
No, no, no. It was just a little tremor. Oh man, but no, it's powerful land here. But yeah, it was just like corporate. Leaving corporate was probably one of the most um fearful decisions I had to make. You're letting by so much insecurity just come into your life, and you're letting go of all of those safety nets and all of those things that beforehand you thought were completely necessary to be able to go through with life. And it's taking a super blind leap of faith into the fearful unknown. But what is fear but something that you have to face, right? So sometimes that letting go and not even knowing what it is going to be is that a decision people have to make. Sometimes you do know exactly what's on the other side, but sometimes you have to let go without even knowing what's beyond the next door. And for me, that decision was very fearful, especially knowing that, oh, what are my parents going to say? What am I going to do? How long am I going to last? Where are my savings going to take me? Um, so I retreated. I went back to my parents' house for about 2.5 months, and it was very uncomfortable. Even though they were very accepting, not in the most cheerful or brightest way, but um, they really let me know that I had to get a move on. That was the message, and I, for about a month and a half, I applied to so many different things just again for a job that had security, that had this, that had that. But in my heart, I knew that I didn't want any of that because none of them sounded fun. None of them sounded aligned with what I truly like to do in life and like what I would be excited to do on a daily basis. And all of a sudden one night I remembered, like, what is it you really love? Like, what do I do in my free time? And I said, I watch movies. I watched a whole bunch of movies. That was like my educator, my teacher when I was a kid. I was always interested in how they were made and what that entailed. And fortunately enough, I had a friend of mine in high school that was in the movie business. And I called him up and asked him if he had anything going on. And he said, "Yeah, I'm starting a movie in 3 weeks. Come meet me down in the desert in Mexico. Get a flight to Tijuana." And all of a sudden, I was on my way into the next chapter of my life. But it took that act of reckless release to say, "Okay, let's go. I trust. I said totally surrender. I don't know what's coming in front of me, but I know in my heart that what I was doing before was not serving me anymore. It it didn't give me the joy, the excitement, the sense of growth that I truly desired." So then came the film industry, and film industry was, oof, so many things, so many amazing things. It was a learning experience from the ground up, being able to start in production, which means doing anything that you can do, from cleaning to driving to translating to moving things around physically to going and talking to providers and buying things and paying people and working with all the different parts and departments of the film industry, communicating between directors and the art department and the clothing department and the locations department, and the food and everything. So it was basically learning how to produce anything from scratch. And I was able to meet some really, really amazing people that were teachers of mine on the go. So it wasn't necessary to like go to film school or prepare myself and invest so much money to learn things that I eventually just learned on the job. You learn from people, you sit next to them, and if you know anything about making a movie, there's a lot of sitting around and waiting. So if you take advantage of that time, you can learn a lot more about the other aspects of the movies and the other departments, and that's what I did. I just started to learn on the go. And slowly but surely, I had my eye on becoming an actor. It was something that just made sense to me. I loved acting as a kid. When I did, sorry, did you say something, Noe?
No.
Okay, my bad. But yeah, it was just realizing that I really wanted to do something in the film industry that was closer to what I loved. And as a kid, I loved to be an actor. I did a lot of theater when I was a kid. Never took it too seriously, but I enjoyed it, and I was able to do quite well with it. So when I was on the other side behind the camera working in production, I knew that I had to really, change a lot of things in my life if I wanted to become an actor. And that involved changing my diet, changing my exercise, changing my social outings, my friends, um, developing a personal practice. Everything totally changed because I had to change the way I looked. I had to change the way I thought. I had to change the way that I believed in myself. Um, to be an actor is a massive, massive ego trip, but it's also an ego trip that is beneficial because you're doing all these amazing, really good things for yourself to literally boost your image. And to boost your image, you need to boost also the way that you feel. Otherwise, people will be able to see through you. So I started to become in contact with a lot of actors that I knew in the industry that were already on this path. Besides the acting path, they were yogis, they were vegan, they were meditating, they were going out into nature on their time off. And these were all things that appealed to me before, but I didn't really know that many people that did those kinds of things. And that's a tough thing, is I think. because doing anything on your own is a lot harder. But when you find those friends, those little social groups that are only doing things that are uplifting, then I mean you'll look at the other things that are only detrimental to your health and your vibrations that and they were no longer appealing. But it's about finding that tribe as well, that positive tribe that'll take you to a different place. That'll make you feel much more energized when you come back from a vacation as opposed to super, super tired, needing another one, you know? Um, but I'd say that the most difficult part of that whole transition from going to production to acting was the belief system, to really truly believe in yourself. Because yeah, you can get a part or two, and that's really just depending on if the director really liked you or you really look good against the other person. But truly believing in yourself to say, yeah, I trust that this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I want to do, and this is going to be good for others, and I'm going to be helping other people while I do it, knowing that you're doing the best that you can. Sometimes those moments were a lot harder, but when meditation really came into the practice, it changed everything in that career. When COVID came in and we were able to do the castings for all of these roles in the safety and the peacefulness of your home, as opposed to going physically to do these castings, then you could set yourself up for success. You could wake up in the morning, do your routine right before, rehearse, do a couple of exercises, breathing techniques, and then film yourself. And then film yourself a few more times and pick the best one and send that one in, as opposed to just getting one shot. And then I was able to incorporate all the things that I'd been learning, which were yoga, meditation, breath work, a great diet, really, really tuning into these things that'll give you high energy. And once that became part of my dedication, then that's when the acting career started to rise. And the security came, and the better checks came, and the ease and the beginning of feeling freedom, real freedom within being an artist. And I was very proud of that, to be able to say, okay, I made it as an artist. Never thought that would be the case. Um, and within all that free time that I eventually had, with the success, with the changes that I did into my life, I found myself always getting away from the city, going back into nature, going on hikes, staying on sleepovers. And it got to the point where I knew I wanted more. I just wanted, the 3 to 4 days out in the city wasn't enough. And for the first time, I decided to to really invest in myself. I mean, I'd been investing in myself for years, but they were just diet and exercise and the day to day things. And this time I said, okay, I'm going to do my first yoga teacher training, go to India for about 2 months and train and find my guru. That was my plan. And I was so excited. I was totally, you know, something that I've been wanting to do for years. And I wasn't able to make it. X and Y, a bunch of things happened on the trip that I couldn't make it on the plane. I lost a lot of money through investments that for the retreat and lodging and transportation that I already paid for. And I had no idea why the universe had just told me, hey man, this isn't for you. Not this trip. I just couldn't understand it. I'm like, why? This was going to be really good for me. It was going to make me a better teacher. I was going to be able to, lean more towards that in my life. And the universe said, no, not right now, buddy. And I remember coming back to my apartment, and my roommate saw me pretty down, quite frankly, depressed. And he said, let's have a dinner party. You can cook. I know you love to cook, John. Just go ahead. I'll let everybody know it's vegan food, so no one will even talk about plant-based anything. And cook, and no one will say a word. So we did. We had a great big party. Had a bunch of people over, and within one of the conversations I had with one of the girls, she mentioned a volcano, a lake, and Guatemala, and something really rang a bell. I don't know how or why, but the next morning I got on Google Maps, zoomed into Guatemala, zoomed into a lake, and then I found this pin, which seemed really appealing because it had no highway access to it. So I clicked on it and it said, the Mystical Yoga Farm. So I clicked on that and I went to the website and I saw like a video tour of the place. And I was like, that's it. That's where I'm going. I don't care. It's close by. I can afford it. It's not too far. Let's go do it. And I checked and saw that they had a retreat, and it was in 2 days. Called them up, asked them if they had a space. They said yes. And that same afternoon, I packed up a backpack and flew down to Guatemala. And the next day I met Noe. and and yeah, I guess you can let them know what happened after that, Noe. We just all opened our hearts.
It was
Opened
beautiful.
up. Yeah, we opened up our hearts, we opened up our minds. I really didn't know what the retreat was about, to be honest, until I was on the shuttle from Guatemala City to here, and we um we came together and in this union of family that we had just met, and we did amazing rituals and medicine, and sang and danced and told stories and learned about each other and our perspective of life, our inner morality. And we just all learned how to love more, so much, so much, in this very, very special container that is the Mystical Yoga Farm. It's a little paradise on the side of a lake, surrounded by volcanoes, with a bunch of flowers and kitty cats and really good food and healthy people, conscious beings that respect each other. And that changed something in me. That feeling of being home. So when I did the medicine, the first 3 times I did medicine, like in this way, which was in a retreat in a container and with 3 distinct settings, all 3 of the times we did medicine, I had the same vision, which was to be at the lake in Guatemala teaching and coaching. So after the retreat was over, I had to really think about that and what that meant. And obviously the message was quite clear 3 times in a row: stick around, don't go anywhere. And I couldn't even get past like the idea of getting on a shuttle back to the city to catch a plane. I mean, not even think about being back in Mexico City and acting and all that. I couldn't even think about myself getting across the lake. It was that powerful. Um, so I really felt that I was called to this place. I was magnetized here, and um, they say that the lake either is a vortex, and it either spits you out. Well, it spins you around a few times, and it either spits you out or keeps you in. And I was kept here for a little bit longer, and so blessed to be in an amazing space and to be able to to be surrounded by such amazing people that believe in a healthy consciousness and live in a loving way, surrounded by music. Um, I couldn't ask for more in my life right now. And the way that I was able to make that transition from letting go was difficult. But the answers never really came until I fully let go. And not only let go, but let go in a loving way, in total respect, acknowledgement, gratitude for all of the lessons learned and all of the experiences I had and whatever came before. So leaving a space inside of me that was not only just a void, but it was a void of surrounded by gratitude and love and respect for and reverence for the past, for what it gave to you, for what it changed in my consciousness. And once I was finally able to let go, I still had a lot of fear in me because I had no idea what was next. I didn't have a job secured here. I didn't know what was going to happen. But I knew, and something told me that to be able to find something here, which is what I truly desired, I needed to let go of what I had there. And it wasn't until I started to do that, which was a process of like 10 days of slowly calling my agents, letting them know I won't be doing any castings anymore. Calling my roommate, letting him know, hey, you take care of my things for a while. I won't be coming back, and settle payments, settle this, settle that. Um, yeah, it took a lot of guts. But until I made the final move, that final message sent of disconnection, that's when I got the message from here saying, you can stick around, you got a job. That for me was just like, and it kept on happening. Just these moments of, okay, if you really want something to fit in your life, you have to let go of something. We have a limited capacity, just like a phone. If you got too many apps running on it, it's going to be slow and congested. But as soon as you make space, things run a little bit more fluidly. But yeah, it's a little bit of the story in a nutshell.
So appreciate you sharing, Don. We're so
Mm,
lucky to have you share your journey with us. Now is a great time to open it up to see if there's any reflections, any
mm,
questions, any comments, anything at all that is related or unrelated that we want to express. This is our platform to express, to be heard, to be witnessed, to receive support. Maybe you're going through a transformation yourself, or you're at a crossroads, right? John's here. He's experienced, he faced fear several times over, and he's embraced his heart, where his heart led him, right? And so this is a good time to ask someone who's in it, who's done it.
mm,
Thanks for that, Noe. John, I have so much love for you, and I'm so proud of you and facing your fears and discomforts regarding making such a big decision to essentially uplift your life and do a complete 180 to what you're probably used to.
mm,
I see so much light and love within you, and seeing or hearing you now and seeing your posts online gives me a lot of motivation to um, move to that place where I feel free and in love with what I do in my career as well.
mm,
At the moment, I am in Boulder, Colorado, in the matrix of it all, and still
mm,
working full time at a university in order to pay bills. But it's funding a life that a life here for me right now that is of growth, healing, um, and a loving community of its own. Um,
mm.
Yeah, I love you so much, and hope
Hmm.
to make my way back to Guatemala very soon.
Tom, my brother. So good to hear from you, my man. I was thinking about you the other day. We had a ayahuasca ceremony, and
Hmm. What day?
what day was it? It was last Saturday, I believe.
That I
Um,
was in grandmother at that same exact moment, brother.
oh, really?
This past Saturday, I sat with grandmother.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing. Yeah, I was thinking about you and Tom and you and Danny, but I couldn't remember Danny's name. It was so crazy.
Danny Blomster.
Yeah. Oh, so good to hear from you, brother. So
Hmm.
glad that I can give you a little inspiration and share a little of the stories that are going on here. And yeah, I see you and I see the work you're doing. And here's to keep that growth going, brother. Hmm.
Thanks, brother. Keep facing those fears and embracing everything that's beauty around you and within you.
Mm. Likewise, can't wait to hear your music again, my friend. Loud and clear in 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 the live way.
I'm recording the first song of my album as we speak, so
Yeah.
Hey,
Nice.
beautiful.
Mm.
Do we have any more reflections, comments? Jessica, perhaps?
Okay.
Hi, Jessica. Did you have a comment or a question? Oh, um, any other
Oh,
comments, questions, reflect? Oh, there you are.
yeah, sorry. No, I don't have any questions yet. I just wanted to tune in, so here I am.
Well, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Jessica, welcome.
Well, this is a space for us to be able to engage, whether it's, directly with John or just if we have a question or need support with anything. Today's topic is really one of transformation. And I feel like that's so applicable to all of us, right?
Mm.
We're here because maybe, we're facing something in life and it's a matter of being able to look at it from a different perspective. And that's what this space is for, the sharing of perspectives to take us out of our own narrative into a narrative that empowers. A lot of times we find ourselves disempowered, weakened by life, beat down by life, right? Because we're stuck in a cycle, in a narrative that is weighing on us. And so this is a space to be able to present that narrative up and offer it and let it go and adopt a new narrative, something that feels good, right? Like this is a short stint. Being human is not a forever thing, right? And so one of the insights that I received that is so easy. I mean, it's such an easy download you want to say or insight is become a great storyteller is really what it means to be human. Become a great storyteller. At the end of the day, our character is composed of stories, beliefs, core values, our perspective, our narrative of life. And so sometimes that narrative is one that is plagued by suffering, right? We don't even know who we are if we don't suffer. And so this is where we can take apart those stories and say, you know what? That story no longer serves me. It's time to change that story to something that creates joy instead of suffering.
Mm. Indeed, indeed. And I think it's hard sometimes when we're surrounded by so many um at least in my case, I was one that strived for stimulation, the big highs, albeit like the top of a mountain or the biggest after party or, just something that was high intensity. And that always took me to a, very euphoric place. But then I was so tired afterwards that it was so difficult to really connect with what I truly wanted in my life. And it wasn't really until COVID where I took 6 months of living by myself in the apartment, and really got to dive in and take some time and consecutively ask myself, what is it that I really want to do? What, like, if, like, because nothing was going on at that moment, right? Like the job was stopped, the industry was closed. um I had a little bit of money saved up, so I could, I wasn't really worried about the next few months. So that pause and that interaction with your own true desires, what makes me click right now? Am I not excited anymore? Because if you're losing excitement, then you're losing that joie de vivre, that beauty inside, that connection to your inner child, that connection to your higher self. So if you're not really tuned into what's making you peak, making you vibrate in a different way, then exploration is where it lies. You need to start really exploring and trying different new things, just like you were a kid, like, and you're not going to like everything. But what is finding the best thing but, getting rid of those things that you don't? So you got to try a few flavors before you find the one that you really dig.
I really love what you just said. It was part of this other mastermind group that I'm involved in. We had a discussion about really embracing that childlike state, that awe and wonder, that curiosity, that openness, right? A lot of times as adults, and I know I was talking to somebody in our audience yesterday about how the version that I was before, and I call it my other chapter of my life, the other Noe, right? Was this very serious business person that I mean, I was all about transactions. And if I wasn't doing that, I wanted to get as quickly as possible, make as much money as possible, and call it a day. I didn't have time for conversations, just pure business, get the job done. Then afterwards, I barely had enough time for my family. Well, seriousness, right? I was a very serious person. Like there was no room for laughter, joy, awe, and wonder. That chapter came to a close, and what came through wasn't what I didn't create this. It's simply I eliminated what I was. I saw through it that I wasn't that. It wasn't solid. It was simply stories,
Mm.
and they disintegrated. And what came through was this childlike person that was open, curious to life, and I love life. I mean, one of my most cherished experiences to get inspired every day, being here with you guys. Oh my God, that is
Mm.
like what lights up my day. Like just getting ready for this, talking to people, connecting deeply. It's like a total 180, right? And so
Mm.
it's finding, our releasing our seriousness. I feel like I really love what you brought out, John. Releasing the seriousness of life and embracing the beauty, perfection, joy, and childlike eyes, right? That creates a new narrative where we can explore life and go beyond our current stories and narratives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the seriousness is definitely needed in certain points, in certain aspects, otherwise we wouldn't really be able to be adults, got to do things, got to pay taxes and take care of the mortgage and do all this, things that no one really prepared us for. But then for anything else that requires growth, or that you desire to grow at, it's already scientifically proven that you must have fun when you're learning something new if you don't want to take forever, especially after like 30. um it's just part of the game. I know that's really hard to hear, especially if you're trying to learn something about work that's very technical or just primarily difficult, and there probably is not that many ways that make it fun. But on the more personal side, if you're learning something, say you're going to do yoga, or maybe you're getting a personal trainer, or you're just going to go out and do something you've never done before, learn a new language. It's really important to find that teacher or that master or that coach that sparks something that is fun in you, that you're really excited in a way to be able to join these classes, because that's when you're going to soak it in. when you're truly excited.
Hi, guys.
Sorry.
Can-
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I go? So first off, thank you, Noe, for inviting me into this healing conversation. My name is Fabian. And the question that I had for you, John, is what do you do to fight the fear? Like I've had I know I have post-traumatic stress disorder from my upbringing and whatnot, right? Single parent family home, a lot of trauma that I suffered that to this day it still affects me, right?
Mhm.
And I try to through prayer, through going to church, through I've tried so many different things. I mean, I've tried, medication from a doctor long ago, and I'm like, no, I don't want to take that stuff because it makes my mind weaker, and I just don't want to be dependent.
Mm.
But, I mean, but this fear is always constantly following me. You know what I mean? Anxiety. Oh, I have anxiety, or I'm constantly like in a state of anxious feeling in certain situations, right? And so I'm like, okay, what do I do to get out of this trap? You know what I mean? Like, I know there's something out there that can heal me from the inside out, that can heal my pain and the suffering that only I know that I've been going through, right? For, it's like living in hell, basically. And I've been tormented, but I mean, I keep it within myself. I don't really share it besides, certain people. But you still fight. You get up and you fight, and you get up and you fight, and you're like, well, what's wrong with me? Or I'm eating, my stomach's all jacked up. Like it's like an IBS type of disorder. You're eating uncomfortably. Yeah, I'm in business, but I'm not really happily in business. You know what I mean? Like, so what would you recommend? What type of changes should I or incorporate into my daily routine? Would it be, yoga and, meditation and changing my diet to vegan is, you know what I mean? So I can get more in touch with Mother Nature, you know what I mean? And what God has given us.
Mm. Thank you, Fabian. Pleasure to meet you, brother.
Same here, John. Thank you, man.
Listen, I think you said the answer yourself. You said you need to find a way to heal yourself from the inside out, and that's exactly where right now, from what I hear, is the source of your problem. So the source is really, really in your core, in your intestines, in your stomach, which is your second brain, right? Your stomach is connected to the
Yes.
brain. And that's where you're going to start to feel the feelings first now, right?
Yes.
The feelings of fear, the feelings of anxiety will be there and be reflected in your digestive system. So one of the things that I've learned throughout the years is that if you really want to have a strong brain, you have to have a strong core. And I'm talking about physical core, working on your abs, like doing as much training on your core that you possibly can. Like literally, going on, doing really good push-ups, doing really good crunches, getting on a bar, lifting up your legs, really, really focusing on the core, because the core, if you believe in an energetic aura that's around your body, the core initiates that aura. So if your core is not strong, then that aura that comes out of that initiate is going to be very weak, right? So you're not going to be protected by other vibrations. So other things that try to penetrate you are going to come in so quickly and give you that anxiety, give you that fear. So when you start to really engage that core daily, and this can just be, I'm talking about walking in the street, tighten up that core, walk straight, backs up, confidence. I'm walking straight. I'm walking with this confidence, and it's acting as well. But acting triggers something in the brain that you're unconsciously believing, right? So you're acting strong, you're tightening it up. Obviously, not all the time, but so much strength comes from the core. If your core is good, the rest of your body is going to be good. You're going to protect all of your vital organs. That means you're not going to be stressed out. You're not going to be sick. You're not going to fall into any deteriorative state whenever you do get an infection or something like that, or a parasite or whatever, if your core is strong, then you have a surplus of energy, a surplus of protein, a surplus of amino acids, vitamins, minerals, and the battle will go on there, but you won't even feel it because you already got that packed core, right? One of the biggest things about fear, brother, is facing it, like going straight at it. Like, why is this making me scared? Can you dive deep? Can you ask the questions about where that source came from? Maybe it's a conversation you can have with somebody. Maybe it's a conversation you can have with yourself.
Yeah. That was
Journaling.
that was instilled in me by my mother, unfortunately. But that'll be a different story. But yeah, it was instilled in me, like, you know what I mean? And it's just something, that never, biting my nails at 4 years old, and just, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, just, yeah, it's something that I haven't really been able to shake off. But go ahead.
So one of the best things to really change your inner being and the way that you feel at the beginning of your day is to change the vibration that's coming out of your body, right? Literally vibration. So that's why a good song will make you feel really good, because it has a vibe. It's vibrating at you, and it's sharing love or compassion or joy, so there's tricks that you can start to develop. A lot of them are part of Kundalini yoga, which involve breath work and vibrations and mantras, right? So you're getting up in the morning super early, or before anybody else starts to move, when it's really tranquil in your house, and you can start by simple mantras, by just sitting down straight and doing a few just 5, 6, 10, 30 times. It's really difficult at the beginning because you're tired and whatever, but the vibration that you're creating there by a simple om or an ah or something about breathing, then you're physically making the vibration happen in your body, and it resonates, and it comes in, it comes out. And the more that you do that, like the more, say at the beginning you did like 5 and you got tired and said, okay, I gotta go brush my teeth, whatever. But the next day you do 10, the next day you do 15. And by the end of the week, you're doing it 30 times in the morning. Trust me, you will see and sense a vibrational difference between your reactions to all of the normal things that would trigger you and give you anxiety. It's about really just setting yourself up for success from the very get-go of the morning. So you're not, the first thing you do is you're not looking at that phone, you're not checking any news, you're not doing anything like that. The first thing that you're worrying about in the morning is Fabian and nothing else.
Yeah. Because right now I wake up and I'm like, oh shit, here we go again, another day. I'm like, but you know what I mean? I don't have that like that fire, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, that's not a good mental state to be in when you first wake up. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be excited. But I've always stayed in shape. I've always worked out. I mean, my brother Noe has seen me, you know what I mean, all my years. One thing I never did was, do core, because I have a skinny core, and I thought, you know what, I don't really need to work on it. So that is, besides everything else, that is probably my weakest muscle in my whole body.
Wow.
Which triggered to lower back issues. But yeah, I mean, I've never thought about doing core and making my core strong, so everything else, so it could, it could be a force shield, on anything else that trying to come in and impact me or affect me.
Indeed. Think of it as literally fortifying your brain.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that sounds.
Everything else that's in there.
Yeah, another thing that I would suggest is writing, like writing morning pages, which is basically you have a lot of thoughts, right? That you're mentating every morning, like, oh shoot, here we go again. Instead of the oh shoot, here we go again, computer, oh shoot, here we go again. And then what is coming through? Write everything out. Everything out until you wrote everything that's in your head. Do that as a daily practice, and then that will raise your awareness. You'll be able to go back and start noticing a pattern. and then you'll question, your awareness will go up and you'll question, wait a second, why am I thinking about that and always writing about that and that and that? And then it'll be a point where we could talk about it, or you could express it to anyone, and then it will be something that we can help you change the narrative, right? Because at the end of the day, you're writing about things that the mind is worrying about. There's so many ways to disable the mind. I like John's analogy. Like, I feel like we're these computers, and the more programs we have running, the slower that our mechanism operates, right? We're just bogged down. So what we're trying to do here with healing conversations is turn off all the programs, quiet the mind, and create empowering narratives that enable you to experience life from a place of peace and joy. And what basically how everyone experiences life, right? We all have a different perspective, but I feel like at the end of the day, we're here because we're tired. We want to get rid of some of those burdens, right? And there's so many ways to do that. John, he touched on quite a few. There's so many more. There's no one way, there's many ways. And it's basically like what resonates for you. This is the question to ask when you're like determining what is it that I'm supposed to do? What makes you happy? First of all, that's the easy one. What makes Fabian happy? See if that's something that you can focus on every day. Whatever that is, that one thing. Maybe it's, go golfing for an hour every day. Maybe that's gonna better mood. And then maybe some spiritual practices. But even that, I mean, we go into the spiritual container, it doesn't even have to be that, because this is all about you. It's not about what all the gurus say, because there's so many ways. And guess what? You are your own best guru.
Right.
Looking inside, we can certainly guide you, but at the end of the day, it's going to be what resonates for you. But we're here. We're here to help you, to support you, to find out what is those things.
Yeah, right. No, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you for hearing me out, John. Appreciate it.
Likewise, brother. Just keep exploring.
Well,
Keep exploring
I
those cool
wanted to,
things. Yeah,
I
go
don't know
ahead.
if my microphone is on, I don't know. I wanted to thank you, first of all, for coming in and giving us all this insight. And also, I want to especially touch up on one thing that you said when you were on your journey and you had everything packed and everything ready to go to India, and the universe suddenly just turned you around and said, to you, eventually you got to understand that's not your trip yet. You gotta go here first. So I think that to me, it's like an everyday learning in my life. Like right now, I look back and I see how far I come, and I kind of like I touch my head and I go like, that's why that didn't happen, because it was not supposed to happen that time. Now I'm much stronger to take that, I'm much stronger to face that fear. And we all have fears, all over. And so the best, the best way to do it, I guess, like you said, it's fear on, come on in, I'll take it. I'll take it and I'll explore and now we'll deal with it. Because I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for I have a mission here, and that's what gets to me, because I've been through so much that it wouldn't make sense for me to still be here, and still be strong and pushing forward, because that's who I am, and the fact about the core, I agree with that. It's kind of like your gate, your like your like your energy, you're protecting your emotional energy, and your body is your temple. So, I applaud you for that. Thank you so much for touching on all of those points. I took a lot from it.
Thank you, Luciana. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. I'm with my phone because I only hear from one ear, so my headphone, that's why.
No worries. Perfect. Thank you for taking the time to explore these new avenues. One of the things that I would love to share with all of you is a practice that I've been doing for like about 6 months now. But it's a practice that I heard from a brotherhood called the Rosicrucian Brotherhood, and this is a brotherhood that goes way back into the times of Egypt. And from Egypt, it went to Israel, from Israel to Greece, from Greece to Europe. And one of the practices that they do is at the end of the night, before you're going to go to bed, when you're comfortable, you can be in your bed, just ready to go to sleep. But you sit up for one couple more minutes, and you start going in reverse, looking at your day. So you say, well, before this, I was brushing my teeth. Before that, I was talking to my wife. Before that, I was having dinner. Before that, I took the trash out. Before that, the neighbor's dog was barking at me. Before that, I came home from work, and da 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 until the moment that you woke up. The idea of this practice is to see causality from your actions, right? To see all of the things that happened in due to the things that you caused, right? What actions did you do that led to this? And if you do it for about a month, you're able to see thought processes, reactions, like things that you usually do that lead to either good or bad things. And it's just a massive review of what's good for you and what's not, what's serving you and what is not. You know, did that glass of whiskey really help me? Did that, did that go and smoke a joint? Did that really help me out? Did talking to my mother that way really benefit me? You know, did mentioning this really help me out or not? So you're able to see decision-making processes, and it's really amazing for helping you with your memory. Once you do this process for about a month, you can start expanding the picture and start looking at your whole month or your whole past year. And really see what I did in January, what did that lead to in December? You know, what did all these processes go and how did they help me out? So really making a mental review at the end of the day of how the day went. But when you're doing this, you're not judging. You're just going back in the process. At the end of the whole thing, you can judge a little bit and say, well, that was good, that was bad. But first, just start with non-judgmental from the end of the night to the beginning of the morning. It really works for me. It really helps you to go to sleep as well. It helps you to release stress, release any anxiety that you might have before trying to go to bed. And if you do that and then do a meditation,
I'm the queen. I'm the queen of anxiety. It's really prominent in my life, you know, for many reasons. But I've been watching myself carefully, very, very closely on action and reaction. Like, you know, I've been recovering from, procedures. So now I'm being more exposed to the outside world, like such as physical therapy, neurofeedback. So I'm seeing other people other than my bedroom, other than the safety of my home. So that creates that, anxiety right there and then. So I'm kind of like recycling their reactions. So if I go to somebody and I say good morning with a big smile and I don't get that back, I will retreat, or should I just keep going, So I'm kind of auto analyzing myself. And it's been a process, but very worth it. I don't recommend, but very worth it.
Thank you. I think we have Jessica raising her hand. Jessica, did you have a question or a comment?
I don't have a question, and please excuse my voice. My voice has been disappearing lately.
Oh, no worries. We can hear you just fine.
Okay, great. I wanted to add because I also suffer through, I have anxiety, exactly like Luciana, like just stepping outside the safety of your home, you're hit with it. So, but I've been, since I met Noe and I heard, the idea of changing, like the narrative, changing the story. So what I tried to, do lately is, I noticed that having the feelings, the physical feelings of anxiety, I also kind of get it when I get excited about something. So I started to change that narrative, or telling myself, instead of I'm feeling anxious right now, I'm feeling excited. And then I try to think about what I what I would really feel excited about when I have to go do something. So like if I have to go to the post office and I feel anxious just from going out, like I'll start thinking like, oh, well, it's actually really sunny today, and that's really pretty, and the trees are blooming, and that's exciting. So like I start to attach those ideas and those happy thoughts to these physical feelings that I'm having. And now instead of feeling that anxiousness, I'm starting to feel excited and like happy and calmer actually when I'm doing these things. So that's just something that I've been doing. I don't know if it could help anyone, but yeah, I just wanted to share that. Hope
I,
it's
s-
helpful.
I so
Thank
appreciate you
you so
sharing
much
that.
for
That's
sharing.
beautiful. In fact, just to piggyback on what John was talking about, doing that nightly review, what I was taught, and actually I don't do this, so I don't really practice what I'm going to say, but it is a thought that they had was discussed as a practice. I mean, I guess I do it sometimes. It's the art of recontextualization, meaning, let's say you had a day that you called, it was a bad day, just like, everything went against you. There's always a way to turn the narrative to change that story, which is actually what you're talking about, Jessica. Instead of like, oh my God, I'm feeling fear, maybe changing that story, oh my God, I'm excited. Or at the end of the day, oh my God, this was just a horrible day. Maybe say, you know what, I learned. This was feedback and I learned, and this is the lesson that I learned. And then you take that valuable lesson to the next day instead of saying, oh my God, life is horrible, everything's horrible, everything was a mistake, and just being in a state of depression, being with anxiety because of how you judge that day. I feel like sometimes I know I was the master of being a person that liked to suffer. I like to use the hammer of judgment on myself constantly, and I would judge myself and I would say, "Oh my God, this is wrong, that is wrong, I did this bad," and it didn't lead to anything but just not feeling well. Then I learned to love myself, to release judgment, and to accept everything as just right, no matter if it maybe didn't feel good at that time. I said, you know what? Somehow that's love. I'm not sure how it's love right now, but I know it's love. And so I changed my perspective, my narrative, and so my eyes changed the way I started to see the world and experience life. And now, like, yeah, there's times where there'll be some judgment, like, I'm sensitive, so I'll be like, oh, like I'll be dealing with my sensitivities a little bit, but then I realized, wait a second, what am I doing here? And so then I changed the narrative. So it's just awareness. I feel like what we're really talking about here, acceptance of self, love, and awareness. Stuart, do you have a comment?
I just want to, when you're done, I want to share.
Yeah, I know we're going a little bit over, but John, is that okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna run out of battery soon, but I still got like 10 minutes in me for sure.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, Stuart, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I want to thank all you guys for sharing. Fabian, that you were extremely vulnerable, and I appreciate that. And what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. This is a mind blower, actually, because Noe invited me on, and this was meant to be, John. So you guys know what I was doing today?
No.
I'm reapplying my passport here that expired. The other thing I was doing today was contemplating looking for agents again.
There
I had
you
no
are.
idea. I had no idea what that Noe was going to call me today, or who was even going to speak. So, Jon, this was an absolute treat, and I would like to connect with you big time.
Definitely, brother.
You know, I've been doing stuff for decades. I got out of what I loved. I've done everything under the sun. I keep getting all these opportunities that don't fulfill me, that I don't want to do. I keep resisting them because I don't want to go into that. And here you are. And it's like, it's perfect. So before your batteries die, I just want to say thank you. I mean, you hit all the marks. So yeah, I would like to, I'll get your information from Noe if that's okay, and we can connect offline.
Sure thing, brother. I'd definitely love to hear your story and help out in any way that I can, man. And that goes for anybody here. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about personal practices or need just some direction as to what kind of different things that you could try out, I will definitely be willing and able to share some links, share some Instagram pages, share some book titles, and get you pointed in a different way.
Awesome. Thank you.
My pleasure, guys. And
Thank you so much.
Any last comments, questions? Oh, Glow. It looks like Glow has her hand up.
Hey, I just wanted to say, can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, good to be here. I'm really excited. Thanks for sharing, Jon. It's really curious because I was almost gonna go to Mystical Yoga Farm after in the beginning of January. I was at a soul song retreat at Casa Kula in Sununa at the end of December, and I met Jahindo many years ago when I was at Finca Morfo in Costa Rica. I spent about 3 years in Costa Rica. And it's so interesting because I think that you have a really powerful and unique perspective and story that you're sharing, especially coming from like both worlds, like the corporate and the film industry. And I think and being able to understand your story and being able to share it is so powerful because the world we know is created through stories. So I think like moving forward as you're like stepping into the space of retreat managing and helping other people like step into their healing journey, it's really powerful to have those backgrounds because we need it. We need new media and we need new stories to shift our entire collective. And that's what I'm passionate about as I'm building New Earth Media. So thank you for sharing. And I would be curious to connect and like learn more about your background in film and media when the time is right. So thank you for sharing. And then with the gut and empowerment, I've been really like trying to hold myself and alchemize myself as I go through this transition of being super sick from actually the water in Guatemala. And it's so sad because it's really disheartening to see how polluted our planet has become, and the water is so polluted in Guatemala, which caused me to get parasites. And I'm still in the process of healing, and today was really challenging. I was feeling really, really nauseous today, and I tried to do my best in those moments to hold myself and alchemize and know that the pain, without pain, there's no gain, but being able to, in each moment when I'm not feeling well, to love myself more and to not stay in that suffering, even if I am in physical pain. So yeah, just interesting to like hear all the different aspects of that, and really tuning in with what the root cause is, because it's always something, it's not physical. It's like I have some root cause that I need to uncover. So I'm really trying to tune into, and Noe mentioned this to me last week too, is just like, what is the actual spiritual, like, the spiritual cause, and like this root understanding that wants to be seen within my body and within my consciousness. I'm really calling in the answers to know, how to heal. So thank you for bringing all these aspects up.
Thank you so much.
This was great. This was great.
Well, it's
Indeed.
7:10. Maybe one last comment if somebody has another expression. Otherwise, we'll call it. Jessica, please. Maureen?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay, well, then that's it. So grateful, John, for having you share your journey. Thank you for enlightening us and inspiring us and showing us that transformation is very much possible, that we can close chapters and start new chapters, and that we can embrace what our heart is calling us towards, right?
Mhm.
Thank you for opening that door and putting that flashlight of awareness into our own lives. Thank you for enlightening us. And thank you everyone here for joining the conversation and being here and feeling your energy. And thank you. And I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day and beautiful week, and can't wait to see you guys next week. Next week, our call will be on Thursday at 11. We have different speaker, Ayala. She'll be sharing her journey from growing up in a very strict, she called it a cult, religious household, and really being disempowered as a woman to embracing her full woman expression as an adult. And now she's helping other women to be fully empowered. So that promises to be a very, very good call for both, men and women, I feel, because I mean, it's applicable for all of us, right? To embrace our expression fully. So thank you again, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. See you guys.
You guys.
All right.
Have a
Thank you
great
so
week.
much,
Bye.
Noe.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessica.
I was wondering if that meeting on Thursday, is that going to be something that you will be sending out, like for people that are not able to attend at that time?
Yeah, actually, I have Noe Renteria Healer YouTube channel where I post all the calls, so I record them. And so it'll be posted there. So if you can't make it Thursday at 11, you'll be able to see the recording on my YouTube channel.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank
Have a
you.
good
Bye, Noe.
Bye, Maureen.
Bye, Noe.
Bye, Luciana.
Ah!
Bye, Armando. Bye, Mango.